I have a first-hand account or review, I guess you might say, of someone who saw the new UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure, at South by Southwest. And I've got, they went into a Twitter space and spoke about what the film was like, gave a lot of details, and I want to cover it today. So we can get, again, a first-hand account of someone who's actually seen this new documentary that we don't know when it's going to be released to the public. It could be a while. So give you a little more details about what to expect in this brand new film. Again, it's from Dan Farah, premiered at South by Southwest. It's called The Age of Disclosure. It was allegedly secretly shot over the last 2.5 years, and it brings together, I believe it's 34 former government officials and scientists who go all on the record together to talk about, the UAP phenomena, right? That we're not alone. There's things flying around that we don't understand. What are they, right? So this film is out, and it's supposed to be the quintessential UFO documentary, right? So this is a big deal that this came out, and everybody's talking about it. So this will be great to get a firsthand account from someone who actually went. Now, this same person, they go by Kent Bye, B-Y-E, went into a Twitter space with someone called Red Panda Koala, and who I've covered on the show many times, use their stuff, whatever. I'll put a link in the description. Go check out this Twitter space. And great guy. And, so glad he got him in there to talk about this movie, right? And exactly what he saw. Now, I used this same guy, Kent, in my live stream that I did yesterday about the documentary. I played a Q&A, right, from that screening in Austin at the Paramount Theater. Well, Kent is the one that shot that, right? So if you hear him talking about that Q&A, that's what he's talking about. And if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, go watch my live stream from yesterday. I played the full Q&A. It was like 25 minutes or so. After the screening, they had a Q&A with a lot of the people that were in the film, right? It was really cool. So anyway, let's listen to what Kent has to say about The Age of Disclosure. All right, I've got it queued up here. Let's go.
All right, and real quick, we're going to do a little bit of a, what's the word? We're going to reset the room here, because we do have Kent Bye in the room, who was there today at the event and did great coverage of the event. A lot of the pictures and stuff were there, and he's the one who recorded the full Q&A. So shouts out, Kent. Great. Do you want to maybe, for the room, I don't know much time you have, but maybe walk us through what it was like, and then maybe how was the documentary, what was the vibe like, anything that stuck out to you? Did you get to talk to any of the people, and then maybe field some questions?
Sure, yeah. So, hello everyone, I'm Kent Bye. I'm a journalist that covers a lot of immersive technologies, virtual and augmented reality, immersive stories. So I happen to be at South by Southwest covering that beat. And when I saw that Age of Disclosure was playing, then I reached out to the PR team and managed to get a ticket to the premiere, because I said, hey, I want to go and I want to cover the Q&A, because I knew that if it's a world premiere and they're going to have all these people there, that I want to hear what they want to say, and that the world is going to want to hear what they want to say. So I said, this is the type of coverage that I want to do. And plus, I'm a huge UFO nerd. I did a whole Twitter thread back starting in 2017, and I followed it for till 2021, really beat by beat. So yes, I was there and kind of hanging out in the guest line with all the kind of UFO luminaries that are featured in the film. Chatted with some folks, and nothing I'm not necessarily on this beat of reporting, so it was kind of no one really knows who I am. So it was kind of this weird, awkward, I know who everyone else is, but no one knows who I am. One little short anecdote before I get into other things is that South by Southwest would only let a certain amount of people on the stage at the same time. And so Eric Davis wanted to be involved with both the Q&A and the step and repeat, but he wasn't being invited. And I was like, what is happening? So I was just sitting with Eric Davis, you should totally be up there. I don't understand why they have these regulations or whatever. So that's why at the end in the Q&A, you see when Term Burchett leaves, you see both Hal and Eric come on, and Eric wants to say something, but they don't give him space because he kind of snuck on stage. Anyway, it was kind of weird. that dynamic, if you're wondering. We all wanted to hear
Interesting.
from what Eric wants to say, but they were just kind of really like the Q&A. I was disappointed that they didn't really open it up to the audience. It was really kind of scripted, like it was all pre-planned for what the questions they're going to ask. But then at the same time, if you open it up to just any random question, then you have all these experts in the room. So I kind of see why they did that curated version. So to go back to like the actual movie and the experience, it was basically like all sold out, pretty filled. May have been some open seats, but it was a really hot ticket here by South by Southwest. I sat in the front row so I could get like both the Q&A and afterwards. And the movie itself, I'd say for anybody who's like really seriously following this topic, like there's not going to be any new information that you probably don't already know. If you're listening to this, you probably already know the core story. In some ways, James Fox's The Program was like what we were hoping to be like kind of a comprehensive thing. But I think that a lot of the people that are featured in the Age of Disclosure maybe had NDA exclusive agreements. I don't know what was happening behind that, because the program I was from James Fox, I wanted to see more of a comprehensive recapping, but this felt like that movie that had, I sort of described it as a preponderance of evidence, meaning that yes, we've all heard these individual details together, but the thing that I think was really new about this piece was...
You took J. Allen Hynek's quote.
What's that?
That's J. Allen Hynek's quote, right?
Bro.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Bro.
Preponderance of evidence? I'm not sure. I just, that's a legal term for...
You killed his flow, Logan.
Yeah, he killed his flow, dude.
No, so Jay Stratton, I follow a lot of stuff. I don't follow like every single thing that people have said, and so, but what was new for me at least was that like Lou Elizondo is kind of telling the core story. He's kind of the heart of the piece. He's the backbone to the story, and so a lot of the...
So does it kind of start with the 2017 stuff? Like...
Sort of. I mean, actually, it doesn't. It starts with a bunch of experts saying, if you watch the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, that's kind of how it starts, with all these experts. And they're really kind of leaning into this appeal to authority, meaning that here are people who know about this information. They can't show you all the additional details or evidence because it's classified, but it's kind of like, trust us because we've been in this situation, this context. And the thing that was really interesting about the film that I haven't seen anyone else do was that...
We'll get to that in a second. It's interesting. Lou Elizondo is the protagonist of the film, essentially. He was not at the South by Southwest premiere. And I did read that in one of the reviews, that he was the protagonist, the voiceover, the narration, right? Kind of the head of this film, if you had to put one, right? A lot of B-roll of him walking around Washington, D.C. and that sort of thing. That's what I've heard anyway. And, I was thinking about this part about, they put all these people together in this documentary to sort of, point the home that these are people that would be in the know. If there was to know this thing, these are the people that would know, at least some of them, and this is what they're saying, and I haven't thought about that, man. So what are we... for someone who's like just super debunker about this topic, right? Super whatever. And I get it. I'm very skeptical myself of a lot of this, right? Like that's pretty clear on this channel, but I'm still open-minded and curious, at the end of the day. First and foremost, curiosity and being open-minded is first and foremost. But, like, what are we saying that, either aliens are visiting this planet or they're not, and these 34 people who went on the record in this documentary and what they have to say, and they're not just anybody, they're all crazy. You know what I mean? Like, they're all crazy. Is that possible too? It's one of those things that's even equally as crazy as aliens have visited this planet. Right? That just means if they're all crazy, then we have a serious issue in the government. Right? I'm finding that hard to believe. Right? So it's like I'm getting closer and closer to the idea that the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe we have one craft and one body, but not all of these things. And all the stories aren't true, but some are, right? Like somewhere in the middle. Some people are crazy, but not all of them, right? And, you know, aliens have come and there's all these different species and all these craft and all these crap. Yeah, maybe that's not all true, but maybe one is, right? And everything else has been created around that one event to hide it, right? Hide the truth amongst the lies. And that's interesting to me, right? Somewhere in the middle. It all diverges down to there was one event, one craft. And now we create this whole story, right? Stories, all these other events to sort of hide this one true event. I don't know. But I just find it really hard to believe that all of these people would be crazy. I'm not saying that's not possible. I'm just saying that is really hard to believe.